Cholesterol is good for you, cholesterol is bad for you. You don't need to worry about high cholesterol for as long as you eat healthy fats. High cholesterol can lead to atherosclerosis, heart attacks, strokes, and even death. Cholesterol is probably one of the most hotly debated health topics there is. So what's the latest on cholesterol, and what does science have to say about it? Stay tuned to find out. Hey there, it's Paul here, certified holistic nutritionist and lifestyle coach at Rawsome Healthy. Now, do you really need to worry about your LDL cholesterol levels, also known as bad cholesterol, or is the subject just totally overblown and not worth worrying about? High-fat diet promoters who follow diets like Keto and Paleo typically go with the idea that elevated blood LDL cholesterol levels aren't something that you should be too concerned about. They say that for as long as you eat what they believe is a healthy diet with lots of animal foods in it, and as they call it, healthy fats, and include other healthy lifestyle factors like enough exercise, etc., then you should not really be too concerned about your LDL cholesterol levels. But is this a good idea to ignore an elevated LDL cholesterol level? Does having too much LDL cholesterol level in your blood actually put you at greater risk of suffering from atherosclerosis or heart disease, a heart attack, and even death? Now, many of us are aware enough now to understand that the standard Western diet is not conducive to good health and is in fact highly damaging to our health. Now, I think most of us know friends or relatives who eat a sad diet and who have suffered with cardiovascular disease, had a heart attack, stroke, or even died. In truth, diet has a huge part to play in the prevention of America's #1 killer, which is heart disease. The really scary thing is that heart disease can potentially start as early as when you're a baby in your mother's womb. In an Italian study, it was found that mothers with high LDL cholesterol levels were more likely to have fetuses that had arterial lesions or heart disease. In fact, studies have shown that by the age of 10, nearly all American children have developed fatty streaks in their arteries, which is the first stage of atherosclerosis, again, heart disease. William C. Roberts, the editor-in-chief of the American Journal of Cardiology for more than 30 years, says that the only critical risk factor for atherosclerotic plaque buildup is elevated cholesterol levels, and specifically elevated LDL cholesterol levels. Now, if you do some research on LDL cholesterol levels and people who eat a diet high in animal fats, like the paleo and keto diets for example, you'll soon read about many people following such diets struggling with elevated LDL cholesterol levels. And you'll discover that people who follow and promote such diets come up with all sorts of reasoning why you should not worry about having high LDL cholesterol levels. In fact, they can tell you that it's not even the total LDL count that matters. One of their favourite arguments is that when it comes to LDL cholesterol, it's the type of particles that you have that make up your LDL cholesterol that really matters. Now, we are basically talking about two types of particle here that make up your LDL cholesterol level. The first one is large, fluffy particles. The second one are smaller, denser particles. Now, the issue here is that promoters and followers of high-fat animal diets in particular, like the keto and paleo, often state that as long as you have more of the larger, fluffy particles than the smaller, denser ones in your blood, then you don't need to worry too much even if your overall LDL cholesterol levels are elevated, because they say that the smaller, denser particles are the ones that cause the real damage to your arteries and can lead to atherosclerosis, heart disease, and even death, and not the larger, fluffier particles. But is this notion actually based on hard scientific facts? Well, there was a study that was done on women, and it found that the smaller and more dense LDL particles are a health risk and raise your risk of heart disease by 63%. And they also discovered that the larger, fluffier particles that many high-fat promoters claim to be better ones to have still raise your risk of heart disease by 44%. And another study, this time done on men, found similar results with 31% increased risk of heart attack or death from large LDL particles, and a 44% increase from the smaller, dense LDL particles. So in truth, whatever way you cut it, LDL particles, both big and small, are a significant risk factor when it comes to heart disease. To say one type of particle is better than the other, and you want more of it if you have a high LDL cholesterol level, is very misleading. Both types of LDL particles have been found to significantly raise your risk of heart disease in both men and women, period. In fact, a review that was published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology on this very topic stated, cholesterol largely transported through the body as LDL cholesterol has clearly been established as a causal agent in atherosclerosis over many decades of extensive research. Regardless of size, LDL particles are atherogenic. So knowing this, what can you do to bring your LDL cholesterol levels down to a much healthier level if it's too high and keep it there? Well, it's almost certainly not going to happen if your diet is full of saturated fats and trans fats and you consume oils, meats, butter, lard or eggs in your diet, which are the standard fare for the paleo and animal-based keto diets. Instead, you need to adopt a high carbohydrate, whole foods, plant-based plan. A dietary review of 49 observational and controlled studies found plant-based vegetarian diets, especially vegan diets, are associated with lower levels of cholesterol, including lower levels of HDL cholesterol and LDL cholesterol compared to omnivorous diets. One study noted how people who were given a 20 servings of fruit a day diet for several weeks achieved an amazing 38-point drop in their LDL cholesterol levels. In fact, a vegan diet that is full of whole plant foods and low in healthy fats has been scientifically proven to not only stop heart disease, but actually reverse it. Dr. Colwell Esselstyn carried out a study which proved that a whole plant foods vegan diet that contains healthy whole food fats in modest amounts can actually reverse heart disease. Now you may be wondering now, what actually is a healthy LDL cholesterol level to have? Well, here are the general guidelines for LDL cholesterol level. Your LDL cholesterol number is believed to be optimal if it is less than 100 milligrams per deciliter, near optimal or above optimal if it is 100 to 129, borderline high if it is 130 to 159, high if it is 160 to 189, and very high if it is 190 or above. It has been shown that a truly ideal total LDL cholesterol level is probably 50 to 70 milligrams per deciliter, and apparently the lower the better. This is where we start out at birth, and these are the levels seen in populations largely free of heart disease. And guess what? Getting your LDL total down to around 70 milligrams per deciliter or less is definitely achievable for many people on a high carbohydrate, whole foods, plant diet. In fact, over the last 6 years of us coaching people from all over the world, we've helped people lower their cholesterol levels completely naturally and get off their medications. So when it comes to achieving a truly healthy LDL cholesterol level and protecting yourself and your children from heart disease, the science clearly shows us that a whole plant foods diet combined with a low fat intake is the ideal. Want to know more about it? Join us in our free online masterclass where we'll walk you through the 5 steps our clients use to lower their cholesterol levels, reverse their chronic health challenges, and lose up to 50 pounds without sugar restriction. You'll see the link on the screen, so make sure to claim your spot now. Remember to subscribe to our channel, like our video and share it with other people. What are your thoughts on cholesterol? Please leave them in the comments section below. Eat sweet, keep fit, and I'll see you again in another video. Ciao for now.